Which holiday? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise and join the board in the pledge. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board as we honor in a moment of silence our first responders and our veterans. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 2023. Happy New Year. I want to wish all of our residents, our friends, our neighbors, our business community a happy, healthy, and prosperous new year. We obviously had a very busy December. I'm not going to recap it, but I want to thank all those community organizations, from the fire department that ran Operation Santa to our Chamber of Commerce and other organizations, library, Toys for Tots, and all kinds of goodwill throughout the community during the holiday season. So thank you to them. Keep up the good work. Just to the residents in general, I know we have churches here that accept donations throughout the year. We have Faith Mission right here on Willis Avenue that certainly accepts donations throughout the year. So please, if you are inclined to give, and to give can be your time, it can be food, it can be money, it could be a skill, please consider doing that throughout the year, because the need doesn't go away just because we flip the calendar. The only thing I'm going to add is that I heard what the residents had to say, and one of the changes that we are instituting for 2023, which is really not a change, it's going back to the way things were, is that the recyclable and recyclable collection will take place every week, including the weeks that we have a sanitation schedule. So this year, for efficiencies, we had tried and piloted this idea that during sanitation schedule weeks that were changed due to a holiday, we did not have recyclable pickup. We tried it. I think that it caused more confusion than anything else. So we will go back to having recyclables picked up even during holiday schedules. However, as we ended last year with, I'm going to start this year with, please sign up for email alerts. Please take a look at your sanitation mailer that you should have gotten at home. If you did not get one, you can pick up one here at Village Hall. Please check us out on Facebook. You could always call the sanitation department, the clerk's office, if you have any doubts. And most importantly, use common sense. If you put your garbage out, and I'm even guilty of this sometimes, and you forget that there had been a holiday, you know, if by 2 o'clock in the afternoon your garbage has not been picked up, please bring it back and put it out the next day. And also, the recycling, which will normally be on Wednesday, as it has been, when there's a change to the schedule, that will be moved, and so you have to pay attention to when it's moved. Normally, it would be to a Friday, unless the holiday is on the Friday. So please just pay attention to that. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to us, okay? And with that, Happy New Year to everyone. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. To echo the Mayor's sentiment about the need never going away, I just wanted to remind everybody that the library is holding a winter coat drive through the whole month of January through the 31st. It's to benefit the Long Island Coalition for the Homeless, especially in this cold time of the year. Coats are definitely in need, so any new or clean, gently used coats would be greatly appreciated. As you clean out your closets and purge for the new year, think about giving those things that you no longer need to others. So winter coat drive in the Memorial Library for the rest of the month. And with that, have a very happy New Year.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Trustee Casado.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. First and foremost, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope 2023 is a great year for all of us. I wanted to acknowledge and commend our firefighters, our Mineola volunteer firefighters, who once again stepped up to the plate this past holiday season, their annual Operation Santa program. From Friday, December the 9th to Friday, December the 23rd, various crews from all three companies traveled through the streets of Mineola, flashing lights and sirens, carrying Santa, Frosty, Rudolph, and Sparky the fire dog. Great, love him. According to ex-Chief Mazur, who coordinates the fire department's Operation Santa program, during these 15 nights, the fire department visited 275 homes. Plus, they visited 3 of our larger apartment buildings, which included Morgan Park's December 3rd Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and then the night prior, our village Christmas tree lighting ceremony, which was December the 2nd, where Santa greeted a ton of kids at our community center. And they also visited Winthrop Hospital. But it didn't stop there. On Tuesday, December the 20th, a crew took Santa and his gang to the Mitchell Field Athletic Complex, where they took part in another holiday celebration, which was organized through the office of our county executive. It was called Feliz Navidad. Those children who attended that ceremony were each given a Christmas toy, which was in conjunction with the Marines' Toys for Tots program. I had the opportunity to speak with Chief Mazur last Thursday, and he stated that with all the activities that took place, the Mineola Fire Department's Operation Santa program probably touched the lives of maybe 3,000 children. Wow. That's absolutely great. And with that being said, I want to go back, which I said before, to commend and acknowledge our volunteer firefighters. They took the time to rearrange their schedule so that the Operation Santa would work, and they want to make it work forever, to keep that holiday tradition. And I think it's worth mentioning that the last night Operation Santa, December 23rd, it was 5 degrees outside, and our firefighters were out with Santa. And that's how I got my bronchitis. And then I wanted to congratulate company number 2 firefighter Nick D'Imperio and company number 3 ex-captain Michael DeStorbo, who were recently selected as the 2022 Firefighter of the Year. Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations. Thank you. Trustee Clark?
Good evening, and Happy New Year to everyone. I also want to thank the fire department and congratulate them on a fantastic effort with Operation Santa. It's done like this in no other place in Nassau County, that's for sure, and they really should be commended. You wouldn't think about snow on a night like tonight. It's 55 degrees out, but I'm sure that'll change. So keep in mind as we get snow through this winter to clear the fire hydrants in your neighborhood and make sure that they're accessible by the fire department, make their job just a little bit easier. And again, have a Happy New Year. Thank you.
And I just want to remind Trustee Clark, 9 Sundays until the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Okay? 9 Sundays, but who's counting? Till our St. Patrick's Day Parade here, so right around the corner. Trustee Solowski?
Thank you. I just want to wish the residents a very happy new year and healthy and good luck for everyone in 2023. I want to echo the comments and sentiments of the fellow board members, and especially to the Mineola Fire Department with Operation Santa. Anyone who has seen them out there and see the expression on the kids' faces when Santa arrives, it is priceless. So again, Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want two additional things. One is that, again, hearing some comments that were made here at a public meeting, we have begun to not only advertise our meetings and our hearings on our website, in the newspapers, on the public access TV channel, we have also now begun to put them on social media. So again, there's really no excuse. We have meetings the first 3 Wednesdays of the month. The first Wednesday of the month, like today, we'll have a work session, which we just did, and a public meeting, which is what we're having now. The second Wednesday of the month, we will have a hearing and a work session if necessary, and the third one of the month would be like the first, unless there's a requirement for a hearing. So look out for that, and you certainly, all of these meetings are done out here in public, and we are glad that people come down. And the second thing is that I would like to remind everyone that on the 4th Wednesday of this month, Wednesday, January 25th, we are going to have our second police forum right here in the community center, or perhaps we'll have it in here so that we could televise it. We'll see what the turnout is like. But we had the Nassau County Police Department 3rd Precinct Inspector and the POP cops, or the problem-oriented police, here to talk about a number of issues. Of course, some of those issues are not, most of those issues are not just relevant to Mineola, as there has been a rash of thefts and stealing cars and catalytic converters and things like that all throughout Nassau County. But I would implore you to come here, hear it from the police officers, hear what they're doing with their resources, with their manpower, and ask them any questions or bring up any concerns, because at the end of the day, as they said at the last forum, we are, as residents, their eyes and ears in many regards. So again, that is Wednesday, January 25th, 7 p.m. It's either going to be in the community center, you know, right down the hall, or it'll be right here in this meeting room, depending on space, okay? All right. With that, we will open it up to public comment. So I have Ms. Baldwinger Badwan. Come on up. Hi, good evening.
Hi, good evening, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to you.
So, sir, this is my first time. I never spoke like that before. But I have a problem on my street. I live on 15 East Jefferson
Mhm.
Avenue.
Yep.
And I moved there around in 2014. Since that day, I have a big, hole in front of my parking when I take my car out. It's every time I come and complain about it, no one do anything. And every time it rain, there's a big puddle. I have to go 4 or 5 house to cross the puddle to go to my car.
Okay, so there's a pothole in the street?
It's like not deep, but it's wide.
Okay,
Because all the water from the whole block, it comes in front of me to the corner. There is a, what do you call it?
a catch basin?
Yes.
Yeah,
But I see every day there's no other house has that, only on that place. I came so many times here to make a complaint to if they can fill it out. But now, yesterday too again, and two years ago, so there was water in my bathroom. So they cleaned it, and because there was the roots from the tree roots, whatever,
yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
And then they said if it still keep coming, it could be the water, because every time there's a storm, it was raining from 2-3 days last week.
Right.
So that water stands there, and then it keep coming to the pipes that goes to my house.
Okay, well, this is first I'm hearing of it. When you said you made a complaint, you made a
Yes.
complaint where? Here in
Here,
Village Hall?
yes.
And-
We bring the pictures. I have the picture too.
Yeah, if you don't mind leaving them
Yeah.
with me, because then I will follow up with our DPW superintendent tomorrow. You can give it to Mr. Rivera.
Yeah, these. And because see, this was the ice when there was a,
We will certainly have somebody take a look at it.
And
Tomorrow?
she's my neighbor too, so we both came because there's a big tree in front of her house that has those acorns
Mhm.
that comes down in this season when it's cold. So even though we are trying to collect them, they still keep falling down because there's no leaf, only the acorn.
Right,
And they get so hard when it's very cold.
right.
So every time who walks there, and she broke her leg.
She broke her leg on an acorn?
No, yeah, because she slipped on that.
Okay,
And she has the x-ray and everything. And the sidewalk from there, because of those tree roots are big, so it's crooked too. They fixed it because even though my English is not that great, but she cannot speak that much too. So she complained about that too here, but they said this is a live tree, so they cannot do anything about it.
yeah,
But
traditionally, so the way it works, and, you know, I'll have to see if,
can you show the,
if we have the complaints are lodged, but something that I've mentioned, and you don't have to do that now because you're here talking to me, but we have an app on the phone. It's called My Mineola app. It's free. And
Now show
on
him.
there, you could lodge your complaints, and then those complaints,
Those acorns.
oh, those are not acorns, okay, yeah.
And the roll comes to the pie, every 1 year, 2 years.
Okay, we'll just,
Yeah, because
we'll
those,
take that.
because those acorn.
I actually have, my neighbor has one of those trees in the
Yeah,
backyard.
because there's no leaves now, but the season when it gets very cold, they start falling and they get so hard that like a rock. So, because I used to work 3 to 11 at night,
Oh,
but
okay,
at
so
night.
hold on a second,
Wait,
miss,
there's a lot of
miss, we just.
Linda.
'Cause this is being televised, so one person at a time. Okay.
Linda,
Miss, if you could just sit down there and then you can get up and talk, yep, I'll call you
I
up.
told him the problem.
I will call you up.
Yes.
Okay, so as far as the hole in front of your driveway, we'll have that looked at tomorrow.
Okay.
I would say, and I say this again to anyone, if you go on My Mineola app, you can lodge a complaint about anything, potholes, trees, and then we have a record of it.
Okay.
Because you're telling me that you've come here and complained, and I believe you, but I need to find proof of that.
Yeah.
And when you go on the app, we have that. It traces every step of the way. Having
Okay.
said that, you don't have to do that because you came here to see me,
Okay.
and I'll make sure that we follow up tomorrow.
Okay.
As far as the tree goes, that is true. We don't cut down trees just for the sake of cutting down trees unless they are diseased, they are dead, they are causing some kind of problem, like, for example, bringing up the gutter or causing flooding, which sometimes they do because they
Yes.
bring up the street. So I will, and what we normally do is if somebody had called about that tree, we put them on a tree list, and the tree list, we
Yes.
have the list.
Yes.
There's an order of priority, right? So we'll see if that tree is on the list.
Okay.
But while the DPW's out there tomorrow or Friday taking a look at the street, we're also going to have them take a look at the tree.
Okay.
As far as the acorns, right? What you're calling acorns, they're not really acorns.
But-
We no longer plant trees like that.
Yes.
Over the years, you learn. So for example, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, they would plant trees that have now outgrown
Yes.
that utility strip. We can't go back and fix that. What we can do is, every time we take down a tree
You
and we
plant
replace
another.
it with a tree, we replace it with a tree that will never get that big. And we've also learned not to plant trees that drop berries or acorns or anything like that
Yes.
other than leaves, because it ruins cars, it does cause a little bit of a mess. So as we take those trees down, or as those trees come down, we replace them with
With another one,
the
yes.
types of trees that are not like that. I know that that doesn't help you because you have that tree in front of you. So let's take a look at the tree. Let's
Yes.
see what the problem is. Traditionally, just because it drops these
These
things,
things,
that
yes.
would not be a reason enough for us to take down a healthy tree, because the tree does provide shade. We do want to live in a tree-lined street type of village.
Yes.
So we don't want to take down trees unnecessarily unless it's some kind of safety issue,
Yes.
or there's some reason to take it down. I'm not saying that that tree doesn't need to come down. I will have our DPW
Yeah, the-
evaluate it.
Yeah, they can see because the sidewalk is going up and down
Right.
because of the root, because
Yeah,
it's
we-
very
we-
old one.
Yeah, we know all about the sidewalks and the roots, and that's the problem of when
Yeah.
you plant a tree in a
Yes.
3-foot piece of grass
Yes.
that's meant to be out, in an open
Yeah.
space.
If you see the tree, the roots are all over on the sidewalk because it's very old, I think.
Okay.
And their little trees are growing under it too.
Oh,
Yes.
We'll take a look at that.
Okay, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Thank you.
Miss Linda, do you want to come up now, or was everything said? It's all good? Okay, perfect. We will be in touch, and you should see our guys out there in the next couple of days. Okay? Thank you, and thank you for coming down. Anytime.
My record, I came here October 28th or something.
You-
You have my record.
I'm sorry, you have to come up.
She has an email that.
Okay, we'll look it up tomorrow to see, okay. Right, because you didn't come here to this meeting, no.
She has an email
Oh, email, okay, all right, we'll check it,
about the tree complaint.
okay, thank you. And I don't, you know, speaking of trees, there's, as I explained this last time, I know that there's a lot of questions about us planting trees over this last month or 6 weeks, right? That's what you've seen, is we have an outside contractor, an outside nursery that we purchase trees from, usually close to 200 trees a year that we buy, and they come in and plant them, usually. Sometimes we'll plant them as well. But this is the time to plant trees. So when you see us planting trees in December, that's exactly the time that trees should be planted. And when we drop off a letter in your mailbox and we ask you to water the tree, I don't think that's a lot to ask, but we don't necessarily mean for you to water the tree in December. We're just saying for you to water the tree in general until its roots take and until nature takes over. And that's what we've been doing always, okay? That is not new. That is something that we've always done. And the same thing with taking down trees, because the same gentlemen who take down the trees and grind the stumps are the same people that put up our Christmas decorations, that open up our pool, that fill our potholes, that, you know, clean our streets, that pick up the leaves. These are the same, that set up for concerts in the park. These are the same, basically, dozen guys that do this. So we have kind of a schedule when they do things. So we have a tree cutting season, a tree trimming season, a stump grinding season, a leaf cleaning season, a snow plowing season, and so be patient, and we'll try to get that, okay? To get there. Thank you. Ms. Glassman.
Happy New Year, everybody.
New Year.
This is very nice.
Oh,
I knew.
Thank you. Trying to go incognito, see if people don't recognize me. Oh, are you the mayor? Nope, that's not me. That's another guy. That's my brother.
Good way to run away.
Yeah.
I was hoping that you could help clear up a couple of questions I had.
I got a feeling I know why you're here.
Well, in part, I'm sure you do. But I saw that the Janney Corner looks pretty nice now.
Yeah.
And I know that you were responsible for that. Yet I thought I remembered that we said we don't have anything on the books now for the maintenance of a building that is empty by the owner if it has not yet been sold. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
No, we have stuff on the books for that.
We do?
We totally
Okay.
do. We
All
absolutely do.
right, then,
Yep,
can you wave that magic wand on Second Street?
sure.
Because I think we also said that you'd like to bring back the car shows in the summer
Yep.
on Second
Mhm,
Street, which would be great.
Mhm.
But that plywood is still up there.
We-
That's an ugly, horrible corner.
Yeah,
I
we-
don't know how the pharmacist is existing, or the locksmith, but the rest of it is horrible. Can you do something about
Yeah,
that?
we're gonna do some, that was certainly one on the top of the list with our new building superintendent, is going to be things like that, baptism by fire.
Poor
I
thing.
think that I'm gonna speculate that the property owner
Mm-hmm.
was waiting for us to vote on the overlay district that we voted on about 2 months ago, not even 2 months, about six weeks ago, to limit the height and the dimensions of that area, so. it
You mean
was-
if he were to reconstruct, what?
if they were to reconstruct, so, not that I have any concrete knowledge of this, but obviously, you know, developers want to get the most that they can out of anything.
course.
And so there was this sense that perhaps they were waiting for building something larger than what burned down, and perhaps NYU Langone, perhaps a residential building, perhaps a commercial building, I don't know. There have been no applications to us specifically for
Nothing
that
yet?
property. However, in the meantime, what we did as a board about 6 weeks ago is we voted on a historic overlay district that limits the height of any building on Main Street, First Street, Second Street, right? So that
Main
four-block
first and
area
second, right.
to 40 feet
In height?
in height. So my hope is that will get developers and landlords to either develop or sell to somebody that will develop. We are in contact with that property owner and that property owner's attorney, and I think that we're getting close to that property owner doing one of those two things: developing or selling to somebody who develops.
I see.
In the meantime, what I'm hoping to be able to do is to get that building either down or to be, restored to something that is acceptable to us, because you're absolutely right. We're going on a year, it's right about a year now, because it was over the holiday break, because I
Right.
know we were freezing, the firefighters were there, and it was very cold, so we're talking about a year. The fire marshal has to do its job and its investigation, insurance is involved, but all of that has come and gone. It's time now to do something with that and clean it up, so I
And does that
agree.
same owner own the jewelry store,
Yes.
shop, and
Yeah.
the barber shop?
The barber shop and the jewelry store and everything except the locksmith. So they own the entire corner except the locksmith.
I see.
The locksmith is not part of their property.
And not the pharmacist, or he does?
No, they do own the pharmacist,
do?
I believe, yeah.
Hmm.
I believe that they own everything but the locksmith.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but that's they definitely do not own the locksmith.
Okay, so also then, what about the Western beef? I know you were hoping and to hold out for another food market, which would be fabulous if
Yeah.
that can be done. Have you had any interest in that
I
property?
have had some interest, and I am actively seeking to find somebody to fill that. It was my understanding that they were gonna vacate in December. That hasn't happened,
No.
which is good. And again, I think that getting that out there in terms of saying that what we'd like to see there is the current use is also beneficial, so that the property owners don't think that they can develop something other than what's there now. And I have made that very, very clear, that the only thing I want to see there is another.
I know you did say that. I was just hoping that you kept that vision.
Yeah, I'm still pushing
I
my
think it would be
contacts,
great
and
if
I
we
am.
could.
And I'm hoping that we'll get to do that soon.
All right, so that answers those questions. So there is something in our policies already for maintaining the exterior of these buildings that are vacant.
100%,
Okay, that's good to know. Now can we move to our favorite topic?
yeah. It's almost over.
Well, it isn't, because our builder seems to be dragging his feet quite a bit. I had a personal conversation with him. He still claims that I know the village has given him all the approvals that we can, but he claims that what's holding him up now, or that still needs to be approved, is asbestos and this rat letter for the health department. Now, I believe that that would be his responsibility, correct? That he would have to have an exterminator come in and verify that that was done, and the asbestos removal is his responsibility to submit, and that would be to the county, not to us, correct?
To the county. So I think that, to your point about he's done the village, that's not accurate.
Okay,
He had a scheduled hearing before the Board of Zoning and Appeals on December 15th here. at
The zoning
BZ
meeting?
The zoning.
yes, I
zoning.
know, and that was canceled.
And that was canceled because the
Right.
stenographer did not show
Couldn't
up
make it,
because,
so now we have a new
she
date.
got sick or whatever it was, and unfortunately, that had to be canceled. So he still needs to go through that process, right?
So the zoning approval has to be first before he can remove the other two items, the asbestos and the,
Not
Health
necessarily, but
Department?
my understanding is that the rat letter from the county, as you call it, has to be within a certain number of days, I believe it's 10, I could be wrong, before demolition. If you don't demolish by that time, then you have to go and
You
get
have to
another
do it
letter,
again.
like it expires, so I think that what he's trying to do is to see if he is successful at because if he's not successful at the zoning board, right, which has nothing to do with this board, I believe he's requesting some relief on lot size, right?
yes, 4
Okay.
feet.
If he doesn't get that relief, maybe he proceeds a different way and he builds 2 homes instead of 3. But I think that he is waiting to see what the BZA does, which will be next week or in 2 weeks,
The
I believe.
26th.
The 26th, Thursday the 26th. And then once he gets that decision, I would expect that he would move on. Having said that, we'll have Mr. Trinicosta or Mr. Gibbons give him a call and just verify. I do know that the rat letter, normally they want to get that within the window before they demolish, because or else they have to get it again. And so.
I get it.
Is that, Mr. Gibbons, am I?
Yes, you're correct.
Correct?
Very
Mr. O'Keefe, am I correct? All right, good. So,
Thanks.
look at that. You see, you learn stuff sitting up here.
That's why I'm here.
I
I'm
never thought
trying
I'd
to
be
learn as
using
well.
the word rat and letter in the same sentence.
I hate
but,
that.
you know.
Okay, so now I get that piece. But
So we're hoping, we're really hoping that we're at like the 5-yard line, and not even like at the 1-yard line, and hopefully in the spring, those homes will be down, because you've put up with them, and the DeGregolis and everybody else on that block
I
has
wasn't
put up with them.
actually so anxious for the demo as much as getting the paperwork in place so
Right.
that the demo could take place as quickly as possible after that. But, you know, it's the chicken and the egg
Yeah,
routine,
it's-
so I
right.
didn't understand which
And I
came
understand
first.
from the builder's perspective, he wants everything to line up and to be smooth, so he doesn't want to get, you know, ahead of himself, put the cart before the horse before he's gotten the approval.
I follow.
Again, had that event on the 15th not happened, hopefully we'd have a decision by now, and hopefully we'd be.
The rest
I
would
mean,
have-
now it literally slowed it up by 5 weeks, but, you know, I think that, we've been in worse spots with that property. We're in a good spot, or at
That
least we're
depends
headed.
on what side of the street you live on.
Yeah.
Anyway, now that we know that there are some regulations on the books for the maintenance of vacant buildings, do they not then also pertain to this gentleman?
They should, yes.
Okay.
Yes, so
Well-
he should board up, close up, protect. Sometimes they'll put, is there a fence? I haven't been down there
He
in a while. Is
claimed
there
he had a
fence around it?
padlock on, that's not true. He also claimed it's under video surveillance, that's not true. And the window of the front living room, bay window, has been broken for the last year. I called him the other day to inform him that it is now, it had a hole this size, now it's 50% gone, the front living room bay window. And you can not only see what's inside, but you can also imagine
Right.
what's going on. So I took my little self over there, and I submitted to you some photos that I was able to take of what's behind the living room window. And I called him and I said, just as an FYI, do you realize the bigger hole that is now in your window? He said, oh, I was unaware that there was a hole. Would you take some pictures for me? I said, the window's been broken for a year. You're the property owner over about 2 months now. You don't know that this building has a broken window that's not completely there anymore? And I leaned on the front door, which then opened,
I saw that.
and as you enter, we still have the dishes with the food. The stench is unbelievable. The dishes are outside, inside, upside down and around. The
Do you
backyard,
still
the
see-
driveway
are
is
there
a
cats?
mess.
Are there cats still there or not?
I'm also representing Mr. and Mrs. DeGregoli, who could
Right.
not be here. They are directly opposite
I
that
know,
home. And they have had 2 altercations with the police department. Nicole Cataldo called the police on the builder because he had the nerve to shut off the water, as he gave her license to continue to remove the animals because he felt sorry for her. And that was all legally done. Then she argued with the police department that he shut the water off. And another time when the builder was not involved, the police were called again because she was all over the place yelling and screaming, and the neighbors were out. And the police were a little bit confused because she kept maintaining that she was the owner and she lived there and she had the right to be there. So the neighbors said, unfortunately, that's not so. The closing took place 2 months ago. She was given a little grace period to continue removing the animals when she claimed she paid an agency to remove the rest. Now, if that's the case, why is the fresh food still there? They haven't seen her recently, the
Right.
neighbors, but somebody's doing something there, and the stench is terrible. The roof is
It's
as you
falling down,
can
I saw
see.
that. What I'm gonna say is, and thank you for bringing this to our attention, is that in a way, for the developer and for the neighbors, it's a good thing that that meeting was adjourned on the 15th, because this now gives him 3 weeks to fix these things before he comes to the BZA. And we're gonna make sure, so Mr. Gibbons or Mr. Chernicost and the building department will be giving him a call tomorrow, and we'll be making sure that these things are rectified by the 25th, because I don't wanna speak for the BZA, but if he doesn't get up here on the 25th and say, hey, the residents had these concerns and we addressed them, we boarded up the window, we closed the door, we removed the food and all of that.
Yeah.
I would think that the BZA would look more favorably on someone who is trying to work with the neighbors than not. So we will certainly try to implore on the applicant that it would be nice if he remedies these things by the 25th.
Well, Mayor Strauss had indicated that when the Cataldos still had title, they were issued many liens because of
Right.
the various
And I
infractions.
believe we did collect. We did collect
I
a
would imagine
substantial
so, at
amount,
closing,
yes.
right.
Right.
So if they were issued liens for these reasons, why not this builder?
Well, I also think that it's one thing when you have a property owner, in this case, Mr. Cataldo, as you say, who was doing this for decades, right?
Yes, decades.
And when you have a builder who's taken property or taken title of it just weeks or months ago, it may be a little bit more difficult. So we're trying to facilitate the process,
I know,
not
you're
complicate
finessing
the
it. I
process.
get it.
Right? We're trying to move it along. What we really want to do, we don't want to issue any summonses or any violations. We want to move the process along so that he could demolish the houses, so that he could build houses. That's what we want to do. But that doesn't mean that there doesn't come a time where we have to take a different approach. You know, good cop, bad cop. Well, tomorrow the approach is going to be slightly different. We still want the end result to be the same.
Absolutely.
But we just want the way that we get there to be a little bit, you know,
A little more palatable.
Palatable, agreed.
I don't live across the street from him,
Right.
but these other folks do, and there are people next door. And the stench just isn't there on a good day with the humidity or the sunshine out, that no one has to even be near the house or on the property. It's there.
Yes.
And you see when you open that front door, that's what's still there. Who was supposed to move that? Was she supposed to remove it? Was he supposed to remove it?
well, now it's his property, it's his house.
He bought it
it's his
as is,
responsibility.
and that's his fault if that's what he
It's
did.
you know, buying it as is isn't an excuse for
To
doing nothing.
continue.
That you still have to, you've now taken ownership of it, literally.
Correct.
You know, so you own it, and therefore, everything that comes with it. So absolutely, and just like I mentioned that commercial properties, whether they're vacant or not, have a responsibility, and it is another, same goes for, we've had properties that were not abandoned, but where people have passed away and
Right.
people live, and the grass has grown. We've gone there and we've cut the grass, or we've tidied up, or
I know
we've
that.
tried to contact. So we do those things. I think this house is kind of above that, and hopefully we are this close.
I hope so. I haven't looked in the yard yet. I don't know if the cars are still there or not, the abandoned cars, but,
But we'll be looking into that tomorrow.
okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, ladies and gentlemen, with, oh, sure, come on up. And again, since it's the beginning of the year, when going over the process, when you do attend a public meeting, we do ask that you fill out these forms so that we know the topics and we can better respond to them.
I don't really have a topic tonight. I just
Yeah.
wanted to just come down and just wish the mayor and the board a happy, healthy, prosperous new year, and to thank you for everything that you do for the community. We really appreciate it. And also, as I just want to mention, Operation Santa that you were mentioning was great for the children, because on Emery Road, we loved it, but it was also really nice for the adults.
Yeah,
So I just want to thank you for everything that you do.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you
Happy
very
New
much.
Year.
Thank you, Ms. Zahn, thank you. Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to close the public meeting.
Motion?
Motion by trustee Salaski, second by trustee Casado, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.